Hey everyone, welcome back to Deck Tech here at Pro Tour Amonkhet. I'm Scott-Vargas here with Reid Duke. And
hey,
Reid, today you're playing Sultai Marvel.
Yeah, Sultai Marvel. It's, everything I love about the black-green Delirium control decks, plus the energy theme and the Marvel, turn 4, I win type draws.
The ability to spin the wheel. Let's take a look at some of the threats you have in your deck. These are like the payoff cards for the deck.
Right, these are the heavy hitters. The 4 Aetherworks Marvel and a couple copies of Ulamog are, the same thing you'll see in every different Marvel deck. But the cool thing about Sultai Marvel is while you have access to those great draws, it's not just a one-dimensional deck where that's the only thing you can do. You can definitely win by, buying yourself time with Ishkana, and many of the most powerful Marvel hits are well within a castable range, 5 and 6 mana, instead of going all the way up to 10.
Your Demons of Dark Schemes. I was talking to William Jensen. He said it was his favorite card in the deck.
Oh, it's so much fun to play with. I've had plenty of cool games where, I had to reanimate my opponent's Whirler Virtuoso and start making tokens to survive. And yeah, when you get big, complicated boards with a demon, things just go wild.
And you also are only playing 2 copies of Ulamog, whereas most Marvel decks play 3 or 4.
Yeah, this reduces the number of games where you just have 2 or 3 in your hand, which, being down a couple cards in this format, a lot of times, that's just the determining factor in the game. So having 2 means you can find it if over the course of a long game, if you are activating, Marvels 2 or 3 times. And you can also have them there if the game actually goes long enough to get to 10 mana, but the risk of drawing 2 is not so great.
Right. Let's take a look at what's next. We've got the kind of engine cards, Traverse the Ovenwald, Vessel of Nascency, and Liliana Death's Majesty.
Yeah, so Liliana is the exciting addition from Amonkhet to this deck. I had actually experimented with Sultai Marvel before Amonkhet, and I didn't quite get it where I wanted it to be, but between the printing of Liliana and the banning of the copycat combo, I think that the time to play this deck has finally come. Liliana is sweet because, in combination with Ishkana, you can sit behind a wall of blockers and just get an advantage with your Planeswalker, but also all of the creatures from the previous slide have really powerful enters the battlefield abilities, Ishkana herself, Noxious Gearhulk, things like that. And I actually won my match this round by, I played Liliana on turn 4, plussed and just milled an Ulamog. Next turn, -3, boom, I have a 10/10.
Yeah, and, Liliana's Marvel's number 5 and 6,
exactly,
I guess.
Yeah. Not that that's the plan A, because it takes some exceptional luck to get that to happen, but, I'll take it.
And then you've got to Traverse the Ovenwald as a way to, lower your land count while upping your spell density.
Exactly. This is, you often just use it for a land if it's in your opening hand, but these are more cards that are really powerful to draw in the late game. This is a little bit of a toolbox deck with lots of 1 and 2 of creatures. And Vessel of Nascency to enable Delirium, to help you find your Marvel, to find great targets for Liliana. It's just really helps the deck, makes the wheels turn.
Right. Let's take a look at what's next here. And here we've got some of the interaction. 4 copies of Fatal Push, 1 Yahenni's Expertise, a Dissenter's Deliverance, and then a couple Woodweaver's Puzzle Knots. Yeah,
Fatal Push, I mean, no secret there against the majority of decks in the format. This is just the card I most want to see in my opening hand. Yahenni's Expertise was a last-minute addition because it's a card that can help it against the Zombies deck that's quite popular and sometimes a challenging matchup. Also, having 1 can be nice against certain of Mardu Vehicle's draws. Cool to instant speed this because you get to shrink their whole attacking team and also cast sometimes a creature or sorcery at instant speed, which is very cool. Dissenter's Deliverance, a card I would love to have played more of, with Heart of Kiran being one of the best cards in the format, and the cost is very low to cycle it. Even helps you with Delirium, but for a Marvel deck, you want to keep the density of very powerful cards as high as possible.
You're already cutting into Woodweaver's Puzzle Knots, which most Marvel decks, again, play more of.
Exactly, yeah. This is, we're a little bit lower on actual energy producers than something like Temur Marvel, but something that maybe we'll get to later in the deck tech is that a lot of my sideboard plans involve being less reliant on the Marvel, so I didn't want to eat up too many slots with Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot, which, again, a very one-dimensional card, only really contributes to one of the many plans this deck is using.
Let's take a look at what you got next. And this is some ways to generate energy. Attune with Ether, Servant of the Conduit, and Rogue Refiner.
Yeah, so this is Sultai Marvel. It's just black-green with Rogue Refiner because this is so good. Again, like Fatal Push, just one of the cards that you always want to draw in as many copies as you can. And then Attune with Ether and Servant of the Conduit, just great early game energy producers, help you smooth your draw.
Yeah, and so these are the cards that make it so when you play a Marvel, you have the opportunity to spin it maybe once or twice.
Right.
taking a look at some of the mana base. You've got 4 copies of Ether Hub, standard in every energy deck, and then the full 8 copy of the fast lands, the Blooming Marsh and Botanical Sanctum.
Yeah, some people have chosen to play things like Lumbering Falls, but I really value the ability for all my lands to come out untapped, and just, especially with cards like Vessel of Nascency, you really don't want to be a turn behind when you're spending so much of your mana in your early game to set up instead of impact the board. It's really important to have your lands come into play untapped.
Take a look at the rest of the mana base here. We've got your basics, 2 copies of Evolving Wilds, and then a mixture of the different basics, of course, biased towards Forest.
Yeah, so Evolving Wilds, I did have to concede a couple tap lands, but these are really important for Delirium. It's cool with Aetherworks Marvel. You can get energy from sacrificing Evolving Wilds, and then Tireless Tracker in the sideboard also get some value there.
Cool. And so how are you doing with the deck so far?
Well, my overall record is 9-3, and my record with the deck is 4-2. So, you know, it's a challenging format. People don't give you a lot of time, and there's a lot of ways to lose. But I do like Sultai Marvel, and I would recommend it.
Awesome. Good luck in the next couple rounds, Reid. And we're back to you with Pro Tour Amonkhet.